Hey everybody. So, I wanted to come on here and give you my thoughts on this Sunday's Forbidden Door, which unfortunately I will not be able to see, but I will watch when I get back home, hopefully. But as far as the Forbidden Door pay per view itself goes, I know a lot of people have questions as to, why, maybe Forbidden Door isn't more, I guess you could say, open to other promotions and stuff. And just to make this perfectly clear for you guys, the reason it's not open as much to other promotions is there is essentially some, from what I understand, some very behind the scenes legal matters, almost kind of mafia tendencies, if you will, especially when it comes to, I think, AAA and New Japan and CMLL, which is, why you're never going to see the Lucha Brothers or Andrade or Rush, you know, on these shows. Now, recently, some of those names that I've mentioned, like Rush, I think on his way out of AAA. He might be going to CMLL and or the Crash promotion. Um, same with the Luchas, but the Luchas I don't think so as much. I think they're more loyal to AAA than anything. But basically, yeah, it's one of those situations to where, because of those kind of circumstances, certain promotions can't be a part of this, and thus is the only reason why AEW is just limiting it to them in New Japan. Not saying that in the coming years that they won't open it up even more and say, hey, let's include Ref Pro, let's include All Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, and everything, to make it more spectacular, more of an all-star game or all-star event for wrestling. I mean, they could involve a Mexican promotion too. If they can work something out with AAA to where, maybe they could rotate. Maybe once a year, once every year, instead of it's New Japan, it's AAA, or and then it's New Japan, or maybe it's AEW and CMLL. Who knows? Well, we'll have to see. But over time, I think they'll open the door more so for other promotions to be involved. Now, with that said, what exactly are the matches for Forbidden Door that has gotten everybody excited? Well, there are essentially, according to the graphic you can see on the front there are there are basically 12 matches. One is on the 0 hour because that's not necessarily something that, well, you could put it on the pre-show, like you did with the other one, but still, it's like, it's basically one of those matches that it involves a hybrid talent for Tony Khan, and that's Athena and Billy Starks. Both Athena and Billy Starks are both not just AEW stars, they are Ring of Honor stars. Mostly Athena being the Ring of Honor women's champion. So it's kind of one of those situations to where, yeah, you could put it on there, but that would be adding Ring of Honor talent onto a pay per view, which again we'll get into a lot of what's going on here with some of the talent anyway, where that kind of gets a little confusing, if you will. It gets a little confusing. Now, as you can see here, we also have the Owen Hart tournament on your right, the brackets there, and we'll get into that in a moment too. But for right now, let's kind of expand this. Well, gotta take the Owen Hart tournament one out for a second, guys. Hold on. We're going to take that out for a second. We're going to expand a little bit on this as well. So we're going to expand on this. Hold on. Let me get it to fill up that's cutting out some heads there. Let's get it to fill out most of there. There we go. So here is the card basically updated. And like I said, it's 12 matches. Again, the first match, which is going to be the 0 hour, be on the 0 hour, the pre-show, is Athena and Billy Starks. I think obviously you got to go to Athena because she is the biggest star. Yes, she's the Ring of Honor Women's Champion, but I think you got to go with her and everything to really have a name in the women's bracket for the Owen Hart tournament. So I'm gonna go with Billy. I'm gonna go with Athena, I should say, to win this. Billy Starks would be a great upset, win, and it would definitely get her more notable because Billy Starks right now, she's not totally all lead or honor bound, if you will. She's kind of like floating in between to where it's like, yeah, she appears on AEW, she appears on Ring of Honor, but she's mostly an independent freelancer. She goes wherever she needs to be. Like, she's most notably seen in GCW, sometimes competing in death matches and everything. So yeah, she's one of those individuals to where you could give her the win and thus maybe use it to try to, if you're Tony Khan, reel her into signing a full-time AEW Ring of Honor contract. You could do that, but I think he's going to go with Athena because maybe Billy's one of those, like I said, talents that wants to be freelance and go wherever she is needed. So I'm going to go with Athena. The match I think that's going to open up is going to be, in my opinion, the International Championship. I think that's going to open up the show. It's going to be Orange Cassidy defending against Daniel Garcia, against the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Shibata, and the New Japan Pro Wrestling Television Champion Zack Sabre Jr. Now, there is no doubt in my mind this will be a good matchup. And you want a way to open up the show, get people on their feet in Toronto. I think this is one way you do it. To me, everybody is saying they're going to go with Orange Cassidy, which I could see because it, some would say it's obvious, but I'm going to surprise people here, and I'm going to say that Daniel Garcia gets it. That's my honest opinion. I think Daniel Garcia is going to win the championship, and why do I say that? Because he doesn't have to be involved in the pinfall. That being Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy does not have to be involved in the pinfall or the submission to declare a winner. He just has to be in the match. And let's say he hits his finisher, you're making Daniel Garcia into this guy that's part of the JAS and everything. You want to give them a little bit of momentum, especially going into this feud with Darby Allin and Sting and all that. To me, you gotta continue that momentum by giving it to Daniel Garcia. And to me, if you want to build Daniel Garcia up as that guy that's like, hey, I should be, the face of the JAS. I should be the leader and everything or whatever in the future. Kind of continue building that dissension and everything. And to me, this is one way you do it. So I'm gonna go because again, I know Orange Cassidy is the most obvious, but again, this is the kind of matchup that's set up for him to stay strong and not be pinned, but also lose the championship. So I'm gonna go with Daniel Garcia. The next match, I think that's going to be second on the card, not first, because some people are thinking it's going to be first, to where you get him in, you get him out, and everything. I'm going to go with second, and that's CM Punk against Kojima. Now, originally, CM Punk was supposed to be in a match with Kenta, but apparently, according to reports, Kenta refused. He flat out refused to want to work a match with CM Punk. And this is not, some kind of storyline or work shoot or whatever. This is legit. He flat out said, no, I don't want to work with this guy. And I think the reason being is it still stems from the fact that CM Punk uses the GTS as his finisher, and everybody has gone back and forth and saying Kenta's the one that invented that, move, or really made that move notable as a finisher, and that's obviously still a major issue to where there are some sour grapes and everything between the two. So yeah, Kenta, instead of giving people the dream match, which we've all been wanting, even since they were both in WWE together, when Kenta was Hideo Itami, we're not going to get it, and I don't think we'll ever get it, anytime soon. So it looks like CM Punk needing a match, or Tony Khan wanted to have CM Punk, have a match at Forbidden Door. Decided, Punk is a fan of the Hearts and everything. He obviously, you look at the CMFTR gear that they have out, the shirts and everything that you can buy at AEWshop.com. You look at that CMFTR stuff, you can definitely tell it's patterned after Bret Hart, after the Hart Foundation and stuff. And again, you can tell that he loves the Harts, so why not put him in a tournament dedicated to Owen Hart to basically give him something to do, not just a Forbidden Door, but for the weeks to come, on Collision. So yeah, CM Punk against Kojima. I'm gonna go with CM Punk here and everything because obvious again, you want to give him momentum. You want to give him momentum. You want to basically make it feel like he could be somebody that wins the tournament, that's dedicated not only to one of his favorite wrestlers, but his favorite wrestler's little brother, who shouldn't have left us as soon as he did. So, yeah, everybody's going with CM Punk on this, and making him an odds-on favorite to maybe go all the way, and so am I. I'm gonna go with CM Punk. And that to me would be like the second match of the night. The next match is going to be for the AEW Women's World Championship. It's going to be Toni Storm against the NJPW Women's Strong, or the NJPW Strong Women's Champion, Willow Nightingale. A lot of people felt that this match was supposed to be Toni Storm or Jamie Hayter. Well, okay, let me correct myself here. People believe that this women's world title match was actually supposed to be not involving the two ladies you see here, but instead involving two different ladies, that being Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Moné. But unfortunately, due to the fact that both have suffered injuries, or Jamie, of course, was working through an injury and now she has to take time off to heal from it, and Athena, of course, suffering what she did at NJPW Strong Resurgence, it kind of threw a wrench into the plans. So now, instead of getting those two against each other, we're getting Toni Storm and Willow Nightingale. And Toni obviously is going to win this match. You got to keep that momentum up for the Outcast. I think this is when Saraya will make her return, aka Paige. She'll make a return to AEW, and she will help, along with Ruby, Toni beat Willow Nightingale. Now, they could surprise us and have Willow win. They could. They could have us get surprised and have Willow win. But I think it's got, obviously, this is basically, Toni's to win and everything. And yeah, will it be a good match? Absolutely. But I'm going with Toni Storm to win, keep the momentum up, and maybe even set up a future title match for Toni Storm or Ruby Soho or even Saraya, to go up against Willow Nightingale. Now, speaking of Mercedes, formerly Sasha, a lot of people feel that she might show up at Forbidden Door and that this might be the match she shows up at during or at the end. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't, maybe she shows up and does commentary. We'll see. I'm not ruling past the fact that she won't show up, but that's kind of up in the air right now because, again, just like, let's say, a Billy Starks, she is the kind of wrestler that wants to, continue being a freelance wrestler. Like, she wouldn't mind working for AEW and all that, especially if the money's good. But I think she's mostly going to want to be freelance, and that's why she's not and that to me is why she hasn't really fully committed to Tony Khan, because she wants freedom. She wants to be able to not always be there when he needs her to be, and be able to do other things as well outside of wrestling. So I think that's why she hasn't signed yet, even though she probably is on the cusp of doing it, or has been on the cusp, I should say, of doing it on many occasions. I think it's mainly she wants to make sure she has a deal in place that gives her freedom to do whatever she wants and not always have to be there on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. But do I expect her to show up? Again, we'll have to see. It could be before to commentate, during to cuss Willow the match, or afterwards to confront Willow and say, I want my rematch. So, we'll see. We shall see. Next up is, I'm trying to think where they would slot these in. Well, the next one I think the next one after that, it's got to be the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match between Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Sanada. Hook obviously will be in Jack Perry's corner. This is the match that some people are feeling that even if he doesn't win, which apparently he's probably not going to, a lot of people are saying he's going to turn heel. Jack Perry's going to turn heel, excuse me, and probably align himself down the line with Luchasaurus and Christian in a Jurassic Dark Express like stable. And I'm not ruling that out, especially they're playing up the fact that, he can't win the big one. He can't always, it's like he can't always grasp that, that gold ring, that's just within his reach. In this, and just as he's about to grab it, it gets pulled away. So, I like the fact that they're doing that storyline, because it is a storyline that will take somebody, especially if they're a babyface, and put them into that heel tendency. Or not only okay. Let me go right. All right, like I was saying, put them into that heel tendency to where they would use heel tactics or question whether or not they should, to basically, once they cross that last bridge and fall through, being able to fully cross it, that's when basically they snap and say, you know what, I'm gonna, screw the rules, screw the fans, I'm gonna, finally do what I should have done, long ago. So a lot of people feel that that's what, Jungle Boy Jack Perry will do after this match with Sanada, that he will turn on Hook and become a heel, and then by default probably join back up with Luchasaurus and Christian as a heel version of Jurassic Express, but Jurassic Dark Express or something. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. They could surprise us. They could put the belt on Jack Perry, and make him IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I can see them doing that, but we'll have to see what what they have, what they have in mind, what they have in store for him. At this event. But this will be a good match. But I am going to go with Sanada to win, because again they would be a surprise if IWGP, New Japan and AEW agreed to put the belt on Jack, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to keep it on Sanada, and they're going to push Sanada into his next program, over in New Japan, while Jack Perry goes in probably into a program as heel against Hook. So we'll see what they do, but it'll be a good match. Okay, now it went back on. I do apologize for any lag, guys. I don't know why it does that. Okay, so the match I was getting at is the Blackpool Combat Club, uh, Shota Umino against the Elite, which is Hangman Page, the Young Bucks, Eddie Kingston, and Ishii. So yeah. So yeah, it's Umino. I do apologize if I butchered that name wrong. It's Shuto Umino teaming up with Takeshita, Claudio Castagnoli, John Moxley, and Yuta against Eddie Kingston, the Young Bucks, Hangman Page, and Ishii. This match to me will be good. Again, it'll be a palate cleanser because I think if I have an idea of what they're gonna do, then this would make sense. But to me, this will be a palate cleanser, if you will, an exciting, maybe violent palate cleanser in this 10-man tag. The question is who goes over. Well, if you had the Blackpool Combat Club go over in Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing, you got to go with the Elite and Kingston and Ishii in this one. And I know it's kind of 50-50 booking, but it's a different. But obviously, you can get away with that a little bit, depending on the circumstances and the story. I know it's 50-50 booking, which not a lot of people like, but if they're planning to get to where they got to go to, with blood and guts, and eventually, if that's the plan, then you got to make it even Steven, and that rubber match has got to be the War Games of AEW. So I will go and say that, the Elite's going to win. Elite, Kingston, and Ishii will win this match and everything. And if not, then obviously there's something more storyline-wise with, the Elite not being able to best the BCC, and everything. I mean, I don't know if maybe the stories for the Elite, like mostly, let's say, the Bucks, to wake up and realize, we shouldn't act like kids. We shouldn't act like Mark. We shouldn't act like other tag teams in the past. We should just be ourselves. I don't know if that's the story they're trying to tell, but we'll see. But right now, I am going to go with the betting odds of saying the Elite is going to win. The Elite will win. Next up will be the AEW World Championship, MJF against Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling, who, by the way, is going to have a busy summer because, you have, and if you have people like JD and Solomonster, JD from NY206 of Off the Script, if you're him and Jason Solomonster sounds off, you're going to be seeing a lot of Tanahashi, because not only are you going to see him against MJF of Forbidden Door and review that match, but you're also going to be able to call that match. Or not call the match, but you're going to be able to call a Tanahashi match at House of Glory. Because they're bringing him in to take on Matt Cardona for the House of Glory World title. Anyway, like I said, it's Tanahashi, MJF. MJF obviously is going to win this. How he wins it, he could win it clean, which would be a surprise. He could win it, by cheating. We'll see. But yeah, MJF to me is walking out with it's going to be walking out the AEW World Champion still. He's still going to be walking out the AEW World Champion. And, Tanahashi, if he does win, he's not winning the title. He's not winning the title. He'll win. If he does win, he'll win by DQ or countout. But he won't win the title. So, either way, MJF's still working out with the championship. Then next up, in the first half of the double main event, Kenny Omega against Will Ospreay. They're already planting the seeds. If you watch AEW, you look on AEW's YouTube channel, they're already planting the seeds for Don Callis to get involved, to have people help out. Will Ospreay beat Kenny Omega, and all that for the title, because the storyline here, obviously, that the telling with Don and Kenny, and not just the overall elite group, but mostly with Don and Kenny, is in storyline, Don is trying to make Kenny realize from his point of view that, hey, you are nothing without me, but with me, you can be something again. In other words, the storyline is Don Callis believes that with Kenny listening to him and him alone, and going back to being the best damn bout machine, the god of pro wrestling, the cleaner, that had all this success, that collected all these titles, during his initial run as AEW World Champion, that, to him, if Kenny can get that that basically from Don's point of view in the story, that if Kenny can get back to that under his tutelage, then there's nothing that would stop him or the elite if they would just listen to him, if that made any sense. But yeah, they're already planting the seeds that Ospreay's going to probably have help from Don Callis here. But I think that's what's going to backfire. I think this might be the match where basically Kenny gets a step ahead of Don. We'll probably see Kota Ibushi show up. Kota Ibushi. We'll see Kota Ibushi show up to be in the corner of Kenny Omega, knowing that Ospreay may have Callis. And just when it looks like Ospreay might have the advantage thanks to Callis, that's when the miscommunication will happen. And Omega, to me, will retain. So I'm going to go with Kenny Omega to win. I'm not saying that Will Ospreay can't win, because, to me, if you want to do a rubber series, then yeah, having Omega win the first one, and then Ospreay win the second one, and then lead that to a rubber match down the line would be great. But I'm going to go with Omega to win this because, honestly, Will Ospreay, in my opinion, should be going after the IWGP World title. And I think that might be their plan. So I'm going to go with Omega to win this and then clear the path for Ospreay to go after the IWGP World title. So I'm going to go with Omega here. And then in what is being dubbed as the main event, the one that's going to close out the show, Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, formerly Daniel Bryan, against Kazuchika Okada. And this is a match that everybody's been wanting, even since Danielson, Bryan, if you will, was in WWE. This is the match they've been wanting. I mean, this is the match that basically, Bryan was lobbying for when he was in WWE to stay. He's like, hey, if you let me go to Japan and have this match with Okada, or find a way to bring Okada here and let me have this match, then I'll stay. Unfortunately, they couldn't make that happen, so that's why he went to AEW, because that would be the only way he would get this matchup, and now he's getting it. Now, there are reports that he is banged up and everything. He's banged up. So my prediction is I think Okada is going to win. To me, what's going to happen here is this is not going to be a good night for the Blackpool Combat Club, which will set up for blood and guts and everything down the line between both the Elite and the BCC. So, to me, I think Okada is going to be winning this match. It's going to be a great match, no doubt. Hard-hitting, stiff, very strong style and everything. Basically everything you like about New Japan, if you will, and about the American Dragon, when he's really able to let loose, you're going to have that all in this match. There's no doubt. You're going to have, like I said, it's going to be hard-hitting, stiff, strong style to the up-10th level. And, to me, I think in the end it's got to be Okada. I mean, yeah, you could go with Danielson, but if you want to send people home on a happy note, you got to go with Okada. So I'm going to go with Okada to win the match. So again, my predictions for Forbidden Door this Sunday: Athena beats Billie Stark to advance in the women's bracket for the Owen Hart tournament. The Elite, along with Kingston and Ishii, win the 10-man tag against the BCC and Umino. Punk beats Kojima. Toni Storm beats Willow. Daniel Garcia, I feel, is going to be walking out with the international title. Sanada will beat Jungle Boy Jack Perry, which will lead to Jack Perry turning heel, either at the event or at the following Dynamite. MJF, to me, in his match with Tanahashi, is going to walk out, either way as the AEW World Champ. Either he wins clean, cheats to win, or is disqualified or counted out. He will walk out with the title. I'm going to go with Kenny Omega to beat Will Ospreay for the championship. To keep the championship. Because I think this is when we'll see Kota Ibushi debut. And then I'm going to go with Okada to beat Bryan Danielson. And those guys are just my predictions. My predictions, overall on on this event and everything on Forbidden Door. So now, with that said, and everything, let's bring in another image I had up earlier. And again, I do apologize for any lag. Let's bring up the bracket here for the Owen Hart tournament. There we go. Now, I've already predicted that Athena will win here for the women and that CM Punk will win here for the men. But the other matches that we have are tonight. Yes, believe it or not, tonight, as something is loading in my computer. Tonight, it's already been taped, so we don't know who's advanced. It's Anna J. A.S. against Sky Blue. Then we have, this Saturday, we have Nyla Rose against Willow Nightingale. So when Willow competes against Toni Storm, Willow would have either advanced excuse me. Willow would have either advanced in the tournament or not. And again, I do apologize for some lag and all that. My computer just likes to load. I don't know what is loading. I don't know if it's loading a virus scan. I mean, I have the updates, the monthly updates paused to the 13th of July, so you would think it wouldn't be doing that, but who knows. But anyway, like I said, we got that one. And then this Wednesday, we have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD against Ruby Soho. And then for the men, like I said, CM Punk, I believe, is going to advance on. Then we have, let's see. Then we have one for, no, the men are going to be basically after Forbidden Door. The rest of the men's matches are going to be on Collision, and they will all be on the same night. So we have Roderick Strong against Samoa Joe. That'll be good. Both have Ring of Honor ties. Both were in WWE together, but they never got to face each other in WWE as much of it all. But they have faced each other. So in TNA, Impact Wrestling, and Ring of Honor, so they know each other very well. Dustin Rhodes, Powerhouse Hobbs, Juice Robinson, and Ricky Starks. So, those are your brackets there. Again, everybody's predicting for a semifinal for the men. It's going to be Punk and Joe. And then on the other side of the bracket, I think people are predicting either Dustin Rhodes and Juice Robinson, or Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. I think, honestly, they're going to go with Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks because of the history those two have from Team Taz. And that will be interesting. That will be really interesting. And to me, you have to have Taz on commentary for that one. And then here, I think we're going to get Britt Baker again. Well, you would think Britt's going to win, but I think people are saying Ruby's going to advance. So if it's Ruby and Sky Blue, then yeah, it's got to be Ruby and Sky Blue. And then here, Willow Nightingale and Nyla Rose. Again, this one's another interesting thing because, with Willow going into that match with Toni Storm, that does open the idea for Nyla to win tomorrow night in Collision. So I'm going to go with Nyla to go up against Athena. That's what I think is going to happen. So it's going to be Nyla and Athena. And to me, if they go in the directions they're going with the Outcast costing Willow and Britt their matches, then I'm looking at Ruby Soho and Sky Blue. That's what I'm looking at. Now, they could go Dr. Britt Baker and Anna Jay, costing Sky Blue a match, so we'll see. But in the end, with the women, I think, honestly, I think it's going to be, I got to go with what people are predicting. I got to go with Sky Blue, and I got to go with Athena in the finals of the tournament. And here's what I think is going to happen, just my prediction. Everybody's always been saying that Athena needs to join the Outcast because just like Ruby, just like Saraya, just like Toni, she has ties to WWE. And the way they're playing her up, in Ring of Honor right now, it feels like she believes she's being treated like that, being treated like an outcast. So, to me, the finals here, Sky Blue, Athena, sets up perfectly for Athena to join the Outcast, either after they help her win, or Sky Blue upsets her, and then she just attacks her, and in that way we set up for, Athena being part of the group. Then you have 4 women on one side, and then you've already set up Sky Blue, Britt, Willow, and what's the other guy? Totally forgot her name. Hikaru Shida. Okay, yeah, there it is. Hikaru Shida. You already set up that Britt, Sky Blue, Willow, and Hikaru Shida on one side. Well, on the other, you would have Ruby, Saraya, Toni, and Athena. So to me, the women's bracket honestly has a lot of storytelling elements intertwined with the Outcast and the various participants in the tournament, and I think that's why people might watch it a little bit more than the men, because the men pretty much, it's a predictable outcome of where we're going. We're going basically, with assumedly people are believing going to be Samoa Joe and Ricky Starks. So that might be something they do. But yeah, overall, for the women, I think it's So to me, I'm not going to say who's going to win the tournaments, honestly. But the way it's set up, it's going to be some interesting, very interesting elements. And I do apologize for any lag. Again, I do apologize. But it's going to create some very interesting elements here. So, again, for the women, a lot of things tie into, the unpredictability of that. With the men, it's a little predictable, not too much, but still, again, I think the women are going to be more, more of the intriguing bracket than anything. Now, here's the other thing I want to talk about as well. I want to talk about this. People have an issue, or I should say, let me start. Okay, let me start. I wanted to talk about this. Because ever since they announced the tournament was coming back, people have had, even last year when the tournament happened, initially, the inaugural tournament, and now with this one, there's been a lot of people, even AEW supporters, that have come out and have kind of been very critical. They've been critical, they've been very, how do you put it, very vocal in a way about how they feel Martha Hart is being a hypocrite. Owen Hart's wife is being a hypocrite. That, WWE has a bigger platform. And to her and to them, she should, be able to swallow her pride and forgive them for what happened. And just let them do what's justified. Because because of the fact of what she is doing in their eyes is ruining a moment that is long overdue. And that's Owen Hart going into the Hall of Fame. Now, some would say that, well, kind of, he already went into the Hall of Fame, when the Hart Foundation went in. The Hart Foundation went in as the initial tag team of Bret and Jim. Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. It did not involve, especially when they showed the video package for that, it did not involve the Hart Foundation stable from the start of the Attitude Era. It didn't involve that. So you could say that somewhat he was inducted because of that, by extension, but they don't allude to it. They don't. the the thing is, Martha is the kind of person that, let's be honest, okay? She knows, without a shadow of a doubt, she knows that what happened was beyond her control, beyond WWE's control, and everything. Well, it wasn't necessarily beyond WWE's control, but still, bringing a person in and not having them double check, on what happened. She knows that basically, I'll put it this way. She knows that they could have done something, that they could have listened to Owen and his concerns and said, okay, if you don't want to do that, that's fine, we'll figure something else out. And they could have done that. But let's be honest. She knows honestly that what happened, yes, it could have been prevented. I'm not denying that. And WWE, I'll put it this way, should have listened to his concerns. I do agree with that. But I think she realizes that even if that wasn't the case, whatever would have happened to her husband, outside of that, she wouldn't be able to control, and neither would WWE. And I'm not saying, God forbid anything else would have happened to him if he was still around. But still, people look at her at the fact that she should realize that what happened, yeah, it was tragic. And yes, WWE needs to take responsibility, which apparently they've come out and done, or somewhat come out and done. But still, a lot of people look at her and it's like, look, people have moved on. Your husband would have wanted you to move on and forgive and not hold a grudge. But she's the kind of person that will not let this go until she feels justice is truly served. And in her mind, justice is not going to be served, and she will not let this go. She will not work with WWE ever again until Vince McMahon is behind bars. And we're not talking because of the NDAs that he's, came out, that the NDAs and everything that came out over the past year or so. No. We're talking more about this situation. She is not going to work with WWE until basically Vince McMahon takes responsibility for what happens, admits to her husband's death, admits that it was on his watch, admits it was his fault, and everything, and basically serves time for it. And even with that, she may not want to work with them because basically she will not want to work, period, unless the Harts are completely out of the picture of WWE. In other words, Brett's not associated with them, Natty's not associated with them, or anything. Just no association whatsoever. She will not work with them, even if that's the case, because of the fact that, they didn't listen to her husband. They didn't, in heed to his concerns. But he was a team player, and he went along with it. And yes, the Dark Side of the Ring episode did open a lot of eyes of, from her point of view as to what's going on. Don't get me wrong. And, she has a right to feel the way she does. But when people come out and say that she's being a hypocrite because, she comes out and says, oh, I don't want to associate my family with wrestling anymore and everything. We don't want to have anything to do with wrestling. And yet, here she is working with AEW. People call her a hypocrite because she says one thing and yet she does the other. Here's the thing. Outside of this tournament that goes on between the Owen Hart Foundation and AEW, her family's not involved with wrestling, period. Her family is not involved with wrestling, period, outside of that. They're only involved with wrestling because of this, because the agreement is that a major proceed of the profits goes to the Owen Hart Foundation and everything they support. That basically, ladies and gentlemen, that basically is why this is happening. Now, people might come out and say, well, why doesn't she just have it be done with WWE? WWE could do it, and they would have a bigger platform. Look, I'm not saying she couldn't have done it with WWE, but it's the fact that she still holds that grudge against them. And she does not, like I said, and justifiably, she does not want to work with WWE ever again because of what happened. Despite what Brett might say, despite what Natalya might say, despite what other members of the family might say, she does not want to work with that company until they take responsibility for what happened. And those involved are serving time. That is it. And like I said, even with that, she may not want to work with them, period, because she will never forgive them. She will never forgive them for what happened to Owen. She will not forgive them for not listening to his and heeding to his concerns. They will not. Well, they did not, I should say. So she will not basically want to work with them anymore. And again, you can't blame her. But for people to come out and say, well, she's a hypocrite and everything, look, you can say that all you want, but she has her reasonings. She has her reasonings and everything. Yes, and yes, like I said, outside of this tournament, she's not involved in wrestling, period. Her and her family are not even touching the business, period, outside of this tournament, because this tournament's profits, a majority of them, its proceeds, go to the Owen Hart Foundation and all the charities and scholarships and everything that they support and have opened up throughout the years. That's the only reason she's involved. And mostly, of course, it's not WWE. And let's be honest, AEW was not around when this happened. They were not around. And Tony Khan has made it clear that they're not in it to profit off Owen's name. They're in it to preserve his legacy for generations to come. Preserve his legacy for generations to come, and basically get them to know, who this guy was outside of WWE, before his WWE days and stuff like that. Now, some people might say, well, the only footage and material they're able to utilize, archivally are from New Japan. That's why his character in the game, is more reminiscent of his character from his look and everything from Japan. That is true. And some people might even point out, because I noticed this too, that when you look at the select screen, the wrestler's character select screen, that at the bottom, on the bottom row, you see Owen's face. Yes, I will admit that that's an image, from WWE. That's an Owen Hart WWE photo promotion, if you will, that he did, or photo op that he did. So yeah, they do have a little bit of the WWE Owen in there with that image that you choose that you click on when you choose a character to wrestle as. But still, outside of that, it's then this whole thing is about preserving his legacy and all that, before WWE, and everything, so that people could see the human being that he was, know the human being he was, and see that he was pretty much one of the first high flyers, in the wrestling business. Period. He was basically an innovator ahead of his time, and that's the truth. That is the truth. But again, for people to come out and say that she's a hypocrite, again, can you blame her, for wanting to not associate with WWE? Can you blame her? No. Because again, she doesn't believe from her point of view that they've truly taken responsibility. And again, she believes that they will not take responsibility, or she will not want to associate with them in any way until the person that she believes responsible and not adhering to her husband's concerns, that being Vince McMahon, is behind bars. Period. So again, I understand why people feel the way they do, because when you look at a majority of his wrestling archival footage, it's all owned by WWE, which is why they were able to put out that DVD, which I do have a copy of, and everything. I can see why people feel like, if she wanted to do this, she should have went to WWE, put her pride aside, forgave them for what happened because, yes, they've, some people might say that, yeah, they have come out and taken responsibility somewhat and even admitted that, hey, it was their fault and that they should have listened. And there is record, I think, of some of that being true. But again, she is somebody. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, okay? As I mentioned, she is justified in feeling the way she does and wanting to do it, in wanting to honor her husband in the way that she feels is the most appropriate and justifiable way to do it outside of WWE. But she is also the kind of person that whether you feel she's in the wrong or she's in the right, is always gonna look at someone or somebody or some company and, basically despite them making up for what they've done, trying their best to say, we're sorry, we were wrong in doing what we did, she will not forgive them. She will always hold a grudge. She will always hold, a grudge, period, till maybe the end of time. We don't know. But she will always hold a grudge. She's basically one of those people, believe it or not, that unlike a Bret Hart, unlike an Ultimate Warrior, will not forgive and forget, will not meet with a Paul Levesque, will not meet with a Stephanie McMahon, will not meet with a Vince McMahon, if you will, period, or anybody, trying to make amends for what happened. Just so we can get Owen in the Hall of Fame. She will not do that. He will not do that because they have not truly taken responsibility in her eyes of what's happened. And maybe with this deal with Endeavor that's supposed to be finalized within a week, maybe WWE will be put into a position that they have to take responsibility. Maybe Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro is like, hey, if you want Owen in the Hall of Fame, which we would like to see too, you need to make up for what you did. You need to tell her husband, look, we're sorry for what we did. We were at fault. We should have listened. You're right. You are justified in not, wanting to work with us because we were in the wrong for doing what we did. You are right. And if you're willing to, be bought and let, everything be forgiven and everything, we will donate an amount of money to your foundation, every week. Like, maybe Endeavor says, hey, look, make a deal to where everybody's check, a portion of it, goes to the foundation on a weekly basis. That might be something that happens. We don't know. But honestly, the way things are between Martha and WWE, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But again, you can't blame her for feeling the way she is. You can't blame her, for feeling the way she does because, again, it's one of those situations to where, like I said, whether you feel she's in the right or she's in the wrong. It's one of those situations to where, no matter whether the company or the person tries to do their very best to the ends of the earth, if you will, to make up for what's happened in the past. Excuse me. It's not going to be enough. It'll never be enough. And that is why she would rather work with a company like AEW, like Impact, like, MLW, New Japan. That's why she'd rather work with a company, any one of those companies, in honoring her husband because, they're not WWE. And to her, they're the kind of companies that will actually do the right thing and give a majority of the profits, the proceeds, over to the Owen Hart Foundation. So yeah, despite how you might feel about, her reasoning for doing this, you can't blame her. She has her reasonings. And honestly, if I was her, I'd probably do the same thing. I would honestly do the same thing. Now, do I believe over time she should at least try to work something out with WWE to at least so he can get his proper introduction into the WWE Hall of Fame? Yeah, I do. I really do think she should, find a way to over time work something out, kind of make some kind of amends, if you will, with WWE to get Owen in the Hall of Fame. And like I said, maybe the deal with Endeavor might be the first step in that happening, because hey, Vince is not going to be in charge anymore. He's going to have a boss, and that boss may be like, Vince, you got to apologize to this lady for what happened, and you got to take responsibility. Maybe that's what occurs. I can't say that. I can't say that's going to happen or not, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to talk about that, get my thoughts on it and everything, and, also kind of give you my ideas to who I think might advance further, and maybe win it, at least. Well, not win it, but basically be part of the opportunity to win the whole thing in the end. But, guys, let me know what your thoughts are overall. Comment if you like down below in the comment sections, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Superchats will be open. I'll put that in the description in the live chat during the premiere of this video. But give me your thoughts. What are your thoughts overall on who you think will win at Forbidden Door? Give me your thoughts on who you think will win the Owen Hart tournament for both the men and the women. And also give me your thoughts on how you feel about how this whole tournament thing's coming about. And do you think Martha has the right, Owen's wife, if you will, has the right to do this? Because it's not WWE and all that. Or do you think maybe she is, as some people put it, being a hypocrite? And, basically saying she doesn't want nothing to do with wrestling, but then she goes and does this at least once a year. Give me your thoughts, guys. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you on this. And until next time, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.